Welcome back to Veterans Forum, a program by veterans, about veterans, for veterans and their families. I'm your co-host, Bob West, with Ray Chattery and Jerry Devlin. Our goal is to provide you and your family with important information on legislation, benefits, support, and activities important to you by interviewing leaders in our community. Jerry, who do we have with us tonight?
I'm really happy tonight to have Dr. Joanne Fisher, and I'm very happy to call her Joanne Fisher. She earned her doctorate this year at Nova University and Southeastern University in Fort Lauderdale, received her Doctor of Education. And Joanne is a very active veteran, and remarkably, she does it in 2 jurisdictions. She's commander of the Disabled American Veterans in the District of Columbia and has been a very long time active member of the Department of Maryland Disabled American Veterans. And she's chair of the Women Veterans Committee. And working with veterans, and particularly female veterans, and her dissertation dealt with the problems sometimes that women have had in the past in dealing with veterans organizations. And she's a Navy veteran and a very outstanding person. Happy to introduce tonight to you Dr. Joanne Fisher.
Welcome, Dr. Fisher.
Thank you. Oh, I love being here. Thank you.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your service in the Navy? Because we're very interested in trying to get as many women veterans involved, not only on our show, but also within the service organizations within Bowie itself.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. My career started out very unusually because I started out as a reservist, and I wanted to go on active duty, and I had a marriage that was going south, and I went to my congressman because I'd become a reservist, and I was living on a welfare check, living in an alley behind the bar or somewhere or other below a railroad track, and he helped me, Congressman Dellums helped me to go on active duty. And I went on active duty with the reserves, and I stayed on for 15 years, and I never regretted it. I never looked back, and I've had a wonderful life.
So you were in the Navy?
Yes, I was.
Well, that's all right, because you have 2 Marines here.
And a distinguished Air Force officer.
Yes.
They're all distinguished.
So once you got out of the service, is that when you became active in veterans organizations?
I was at my lowest time. I was ill, and some other things were going on with me. And members of the DAV knocked on my door, and they said, I've never had this before, and they said, we care about you. Won't you join the DAV? And I said, you really care? And I really said, you care about me? They said, yes, you're a veteran. We care. That really happened. And that's when I joined.
And that was in the District of Columbia?
No, that was in Maryland. And I didn't become involved with women veterans until Ray Chattery appointed me in 1998. And 95.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
So tell us what you're working on now and some of the programs that are important to you for women veterans.
Oh, there's so many things that are important to me. Right now we're working on our exciting Women Veterans Expo that will be November the 6th at the War Memorial Building in downtown Baltimore, which is very, very exciting. What's important to me are 2 very major issues. One is the present veterans, women veterans returning from Afghanistan and the Middle East. They're having cancer. They're having more cases of all kinds of cancer. This is very, very serious. It's happening with men also. This is a major, major issue. And the other issue is homelessness. Those are my 2 prime issues. For administration, my concerns are the advancement of women into veteran service organizations. So I'm having tables set up. All the veteran organizations will have free tables. I want them to come in and recruit women because I want to see more pictures of women on magazines. We're going into Veterans Day. I want more women interviewed as they're doing things. I want to see them with their families. I want more writings about them. And I want to see more features with women. So you're on the right track. You're doing an outstanding job with this. Thank you, gentlemen.
Well, that's just one of the other things that we try to get out to our community, especially our veterans community, is one, those that have successfully completed their tour of duty need to sign up with the VA to make sure they're getting their benefits. And then the second thing is to come out and meet with your fellow veterans at our service organizations and find out the other benefits and activities that are available to you because you've earned them. And that's one of the issues that we're trying to get across is how do we get in contact with more women veterans and men veterans and get them interested in stopping by and finding out more about our programs.
Well, what I found that was so important was that I did my doctorate, and the doctorate was requested by Judge Devlin here, gave his approval for me to do it on the DAV, and Ray Chattery, after he appointed me, there was a concern about how do we get women to come out, and it took 8 years before it was actually completed. And the Joint Veterans Committee, they participated in all the events I had, and the end result, one of the end results was that we have this expo. And so I have the full support of all of the veteran organizations, and this is one of the key issues of how to get women out, is reaching out to them, asking them to come out, asking them to bring their families, their friends, everybody to support them so that we can hear them. And by them joining organizations, when we go on Capitol Hill again, we can have them be members and begin to talk about their issues, specifically their issues.
And how are you getting the word out? Are you using social media? Are you using regular newsprint? How are you doing that?
Everything. We're using everything we can think of. We're sending out emails. We have, I think, Facebook. We have Twitter. We have a web page, and we're really doing everything. I've even been on some TV shows, Comcast, and some other places, just like this, and I want to thank you for having me here. To get the word out, we have to have our women come. In fact, we want the men to come to bring the women, because sometimes women are shy. So, such as Ray, you have a large family, bring your daughters.
I didn't know you were shy.
And I've known these two for many, many years. I've never regretted them in my life, but yes, we need men to help bring the women out because we want them to know that we have opportunities. Yes.
And since that time that the DAV knocked on your door, how has the DAV changed as far as women's issues have been concerned?
Well, I'd like to speak about Maryland because I have done more with Maryland. Maryland has been dynamic. Maryland now has more women being involved, and also by interacting with the Joint Veterans Committee, they're more open-minded and open to hearing about women. And so I happen to like that, and they're more focused on women's issues. And it's even with the VFW. The VFW is extremely aggressive in Maryland for getting the word out to women. And so since that happens, that's what it's like now. When I first started, it was not that easy.
And I think also Secretary Owen is very much involved in getting more veteran women involved.
Yes, he's a dynamic, energetic, very friendly person. He's taking the governor's place. The governor will be able to come out. So he's coming, and he's going to walk around and shake people's hands and say a few words. He's Mr. Friendly, a great person.
And for Ray and Jerry, the local DAV, we do a lot for women veterans too.
Absolutely, right.
Is there anything that we're going to be doing special in the next few days? I know we're going to do Veterans Day, and we have women veterans that participate in our program here.
Yeah.
And you're in charge this year.
Yeah. And Jerry will be master ceremonies, and I'll do the commander part and the wreaths. But like I said, we're getting more women involved and coming to the meetings. Like I have a Kathleen Lacey. She's a service officer. She's also our chaplain. In fact, we just had a couple women join our VFW post recently. Mm-hmm. So
we're doing as much as we can, but we're always trying to find out where's that little nugget to get people involved. Of course, the younger people have family things that they have to get done with too, taking care of their family. But we're still trying to reach out as much as we can in the local community.
Well, it will take a while for us to really get this mastered, but right now we're in the right direction. Also, it has to do with environment. With my study, I found that when women come, if you're just open with them and you ask them to have a position, encourage them, support them, and mentor them, that they will stay. And then also, more women now are having families. During my time, they didn't have, I had a family, but not other people, not everybody else did, the women who were in. But now women are having families. When we have events, we have family-style events.
And that's something maybe we can look into a little bit more locally, would be those family-style events that we might be able to sponsor, which would bring more interest in stopping by one of the service organizations.
Yes, and something else we must not forget, something that really bothers me is that we don't want to focus completely on the young. We must remember those who came before. We must remember the older women who are sick, those who are in nursing homes, and also when men pass, they'll announce it and put it in the paper. But when women pass, and it's not usually in the newspaper at all, we need to begin to recognize them and go to their funerals and pay homage to their families, to let them know that yes, they did positively contribute. So we have to remember our older women and our younger women. We have to look at the whole gamut from all walks of life.
Now, the Prince George's County Commission for Veterans, you have very much contact with them, because they do have a member on the committee that represent female women veterans. Lieutenant Colonel
Rouse?
Rouse. I wonder if she's still on there or not. Have you been in touch with the commission?
No, I haven't had any. Well, I did have touch with the commission. I did touch with one of the gentlemen on there. I can't remember his name at this time. And so he did call me, and he told me he came up with a very serious issue about when he had problems with the VA and how he went someplace else for treatment and the VA didn't pay the bill, and he was advocating for that, and he brought that to my attention. I thought that was outstanding at the time.
Beverly Rouse.
Right, Beverly.
Yes, I haven't. I don't think I've talked with her.
Lieutenant Colonel, right.
Colonel, yeah.
Well, yeah. With some more information, I'll be more than happy to reach out to her to ask her to come.
I think they have. They meet the first Monday of every month at the Family Services Building in Camp Springs. Because Jerry and I served for almost 5 years on that commission. Jerry was vice chairman, and then you were chairman for the last couple years.
Yeah.
And I was the secretary the whole time.
There's going to be a Prince George's County Veterans Stand Down on Saturday, November the 7th, and the focus is going to be a Homeless Resource Day. And so that's probably another area that the county is reaching out to local veterans to provide some assistance and to families.
Well, that is a major issue for me, homelessness. And so McVet is involved with us for this, and they're going to have a reception, a pre-reception for the expo, and that's going to be on November the 5th. And we're going to have a Dr. Foote there, and he's going to he has multimedia things, and he's going to show some things to help veterans, how to help veterans relax through arts and things like that. And plus, we're going to have some of the women talk about how McVet has helped them and the homeless arena and where they're going to go in the future, because we do need more places for women veterans to go, and especially those with children. So homelessness is a major, major issue.
Yeah, and McVet, you said you're going up to McVet?
McVet is having their reception there for us. They're having a pre-expo reception. Outstanding. The guest speaker, Dr. Foote, is an outstanding person. For the expo, we're having Adjutant General Singh, and she was appointed by Governor Hogan, and she's an outstanding person. She'll be there. She'll be at the expo at 10 o'clock on the 6th. So we have all these things that will attract women, sensitivity to women and their needs.
Do you get up to Baltimore VA very much?
No, I did go there once.
Because they were supposed to be building a woman veterans wing for medical services, and I was just wondering if you had known about that, very much about that.
No, I haven't. I didn't know about that. I'd like to, but something that they do that's amazing is that women are now coming out pregnant and having children there, and when they have children, they announce it through a wings or something that they play in the hospital when a baby's born. So they actually have an area for the birth of children. And I find that, now that is, Jerry, I know that's different from your time.
Oh, my time. I didn't know it was over. My computer ran my health program and it played Nearer My God to Thee, but that's why I don't buy green bananas.
Yes, yes. So they've made tremendous changes, D.C. and Maryland. I think this is fascinating.
Are there some other events that will be coming up in November that you're aware of that we need to get the word out?
At this particular time, I don't, except for the recognition of women at Veterans Day. I would like to see more done to recognize women's burial sites, like when you go out to the cemetery. I'd like to see more women groups go out there as we place flags on the graves of women, if we do something special, because we really just don't recognize women. And also in November, I'd like to see, instead of ads of men walking around and missing all these limbs, which is unfortunate, I don't ever want to play that down. I'd like for them to also show women. I'd like to see them with their families and showing how they are getting through life, sensitivity to them and caring. And their children, I'd like to see a change, a dramatic change today for that.
And that's what we're all trying to get out and to understand more, are the special needs of women, especially women with families.
Yes, yes, yes.
And especially if they're a single parent.
Yes, 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 yes. And also the military has changed even for me. There are things that even I have to learn. Now they're also having same-sex marriages, and if the family is different from when I was in the service, then there was really no family except if you were a male and you had your family. Or with me, I had my family when I came in. But it's not like the sensitivity is a little different now. And we have to even come on board with that, with sensitivity to the families.
One thing I would like to say is that on November the 11th, which is a Wednesday, at 11 o'clock at Bowie Veterans Park in Old Bowie, the DAV will be hosting our Veterans Day program. And of course, the American Legion, the VFW, and the Marine Corps League are involved. And this year it's going to be a really nice event in that we are going to be, the city is going to be dedicating a new statue. And this is going to be the one with the helmet, the M16, and the boots.
Yes.
And this is more in the line for the post-Vietnam era veterans. And as I say, there again, they're going to, the Bowie Arts Council are the ones that approve this. And it was supposed to have been delivered this week.
Yes.
So they'll be ready for, and Mayor Robinson and the Bowie City Council will be the ones that will be dedicating that. So as I say, for the ladies, especially now that the Gulf War and the, let's see, what was the one, there was Iraq and then Afghanistan. More women in combat would like, if they're in Bowie, please come on out and help us celebrate Veterans Day. It's for everybody.
I think I like that. And I want you to notice that when Ray spoke, everyone, when Ray Chattery spoke, he spoke about veteran groups. Veteran groups have changed. They're changing. They're reaching out for women. The study was dramatic, and as I was doing it, like I told you, all the groups were there with the Joint Joint Veterans Committee, and it had a tremendous effect. So Ray, I really like hearing that. Also, my oldest daughter went to the Middle East. She went there 3 times. And she has 29 medals, and I have never seen that before in a woman. So she went there 3 times, and she did come back with some complications too that they had to look at for her.
Is she still on active duty?
She's now just an Army Reserve person, and she went over there. She really wanted to go. Her heart was in it, and this was her.
Well, our hats off to her and a salute.
Thank you.
I noticed in your bio that you identify about 154,000 women veterans in the Washington, D.C. area. Does that include the district, Prince George's County, Montgomery County, and Virginia, or is it just?
It's all over. It's a wider range. It's not just, because we have 50,000 in Maryland. We have about, I think, 3,500. that number may be a little blown, but I think 3,500 or maybe there's a little bit more in D.C., and then we have Virginia. So that number may be a little...
Okay, so when you talk about the metropolitan area, you're speaking of Virginia counties
yes,
also.
I am.
And you have a goal of just reaching out to them. Is your approach in Virginia any different than your approach here in Maryland, or is it a general get out the word to...
Excuse me. The approach is not different. The approach is simply to do things that will attract women to come out, and also to see if we can begin to develop the issues that women want to hear about, so that we can organize. One of the big things I'm trying to organize again is going back on the Hill, because we did go there in February, and I had the support of the committee. The Joint Veterans Committee. I'd like to go back up there so that we can talk to our congressmen, and that we as women can present our issues. I do want that cancer issue out there, because it will also help our men, because a lot of the men are coming back with cancer as well, with all these things that are happening with them. And so I'm hoping to go up to the Capitol this year. That's a major thing in February of 2016.
Well, we certainly like to support veterans who are running for legislative positions at the local, state, and at the federal level, and we see more women running as representatives and senators, and hopefully, as you go up to the Hill, you get to greet and meet some people who have actually been there.
Yes. I hope so. I'm looking forward to that. We've gotten excellent turnouts. We had Senator McCain come, and we were just astounded. We had Tammy Duckworth, yes, Congressional Representative Tammy Duckworth. And then we had Snowden from Washington State, Senator Snowden. And then we had the Congressional Representative from Georgia. And so we've had a lot of support, and they really want to hear about us and see us.
And I think the constant pressure on Capitol Hill has to remain, because there's still issues with the VA, its funding, and its support.
Yes, and you're absolutely right, because we do have a problem with prosthetics. The prosthetics for women are made for, they're using the style for men. One of the women on the committee has one in her knee, and it slips because it's not properly sized correctly. And also there are other things, even the medicine is not properly, some of the medicine is based primarily for men, their body weights and sizes. So there are a lot of problems with the VA, even the treatment, some of the treatment that we receive. And plus they also need funding for the women's clinics. Some of the clinics need to, in D.C. and Maryland, and Virginia, we do need more funding to get more specialists in, to get more equipment for women. And this is something I'm really advocating for when we do the budgets, to think about our women.
And I think it's a joint budget, not only the federal budget, but also the state budget. Maryland has a very good reputation of supporting veterans.
Yes.
And we hope that certainly continues in the future. We're represented very well by state senators and delegates who support our veteran agenda, and we're very pleased with that support.
Yes, we are, but I still would like for some of the women's needs to be a little more clearly addressed, and some of the more other things that they need hospital-wise, even for, we haven't talked about military sexual trauma, post-traumatic stress, getting in psychiatrists and things like that are sensitive to the needs of women. So we need funding for getting sensitive psychiatrists in, and people to really assist women, even for housing and homing, for our home problems, dealing with issues like that.
And Jerry's been working on the Veterans Court, which also would bring in the local communities.
Yes.
Because of special issues associated with veterans.
Yes.
As they interact with the judicial system.
I think that's excellent, and I think
that's where we've been pretty much out front here in Prince George's County.
Yes.
Administrative Judge Sheila Tillison Adams, which means boss, she's been very, very supportive right from the beginning. And next month we're going to have as a guest Judge Phil Nichols, who's a 30-year retired Navy captain, who's a circuit court judge, and we'll talk about it and how it's implemented. So, what is your organ?
Well, it's kind of hard to believe, but our 30 minutes are up, And we certainly want to welcome Dr. Fisher as being our guest, sort of a Horatio Alger story, if there ever was one. And we welcome you to stop by the American Legion or the DAV, because there are benefits that are available to you. There are activities available to you and your family. But we ask you to take the first step and just stopping by. Just as someone stopped by to see Dr. Fisher, you stop by. There's going to be somebody there to help you. We actually have service officers there every Tuesday evening from 7 to 9 o'clock. You don't need an appointment. It could be any family member could stop by and talk to one of our service officers to get the ball rolling for you to get the benefits that you have earned. So I want to thank all of you for once again for watching Veterans Forum, and these programs will be in November, so we hope you stop by on Veterans Day, the 11th day of November at 11 o'clock at Veterans Park in Old Bowie. So we look forward to seeing you then. And thanks again for watching Veterans Forum.